It has the peace sign for the site. And our wounded warrior. The cheagle, half chicken, half eagle. I was told he's very rare because he only made one. Orville and Wilbur Wrong, we're hoping they're going to come back and make it right. The rubber band broke there. And another gargoyle. He's made of paper mache like our mermaid. Over here we have the mother-in-law's clock. There's a really long spiel about it I haven't learned, but I have learned that it has a face on the back, and the 3 and the 6 are reversed, and it runs backwards. Okay, for those of you that drink and drive, check out the V8 under the hood. It runs on 6 highballs and 2 Bloody Marys. I'm going to jump up here on the stairs. So this is why Howard and Peggy were never late for work. Come on in.
Easy. Gotta start here.
If we just go in and come out, I'll just look down there.
Smells good in here.
Doesn't it?
So those flowers?
No. Oh, do you want to come up? Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Careful with that. The drink
Turn you around. There we go. Good job. Hey. Okay. You all in? Okay. So when Howard was 4 years old, his mother gave him a razor blade and a piece of sandpaper and said, "Go play." It was his first piece. His father was a trucker, actually. And the wheels are made of his mother's knitting needles. Times have changed now, haven't they? By the time he was 9, he was creating wooden inlays. He made one for his mother and one for his aunt. He was not a high school dropout. It was hard for him to find a school that would keep him. Does anyone know what a bowl dummy is? Howard's father gave him a lathe and he said, "Look, Dad, I made a box with no corners." He said, "That's a bowl dummy." I saw on the bottom 1945, so Howard was 10. This is another wooden montage. It has over 500 pieces. It's called Barcelona, and it has one moving part. He ran out of glue. He didn't really. He bought it in 50-gallon drums, and that's how he got this effect. He'd actually lay it on there and let it dry naturally. A family friend made this puppet, and Howard said it was all his inspiration. Can anyone tune a can? No? Tune a can, anyone? No? Okay. The fish doesn't want you to play the scales anyway. On the wall behind you there, we have a portrait of Howard. It was painted by a family friend 35 years ago. He used to say he could still look like that now if he had some preference by L'Oreal. Peggy said, "Forget about it, I'll just touch it up with some gray paint." There is a meaning to all Howard's stained glass. Above the door are the 2 partridges. To the left are the 4 seasons, spring, summer, fall, and winter. And over here, you see the cameras on the windowsill. That's Howard's picture window. There are over 60 pieces in it, and the ring is a flywheel to a VW. And as you see on the stove is Eddie Peabody with his banjo playing heavy metal. And to the left of the couch there is the Queen's Guard. He's made of a piston and a piston sleeve. And as we head into the kitchen, notice the only plain wall in the castle, and it's on the left. Look at the cardinal leather. Green. Normally this window will vibrate when we come in here.
How long did he live here for?
45 years.
Wow.
His wife just took the spices out of the cabinet. She moved into a cottage on the property.
Really?
Did you guys see the plain wall? Took you a minute. So above the sink there we have the 2 lovebirds with the 3 keys to happiness. And then beyond you on the left bottom there we have the virtues. On the bottom is wisdom, next is truth, then knowledge, and the top is generosity. Over here we have the 8 arts to look at them to see. We have dance, poetry, music, writing, philosophy, drama, painting, and sculpture. Okay, I'm going to stand right here. This is Otis. Otis can lift 1,500 pounds, and he runs on a car battery and a boat winch. The altimeter is so you don't go too high and get a nosebleed. Now, Howard didn't use Otis very often because
Good Lord.
couldn't sneak up on anybody. It does run to the top of the tower. It was his level that was off a bubble or 2 or 3. You notice this room is sort of slanting and sinking into the limestone base, yes. Howard's favorite form of cabinetry, is in here. He built these cabinets as well as the furniture. And his friend gave him a chandelier. It was in a box. He put it all together and built a 6-sided room for it. It's actually the foyer to the castle. We passed it coming in the kitchen here. We normally exit through there, but the door is off a hinge and it weighs 250 pounds. So we're going to ultimately go out the back of the living room. But feel free to meander in there at your leisure. There are 2 abstract pieces of stained glass in the castle. They're on the left and right of that 3-sided door. The one on the left is the king and the sun, and the right side is the queen and the moon. And they're quite beautiful. So take your time and I'll meet you on the back porch, okay? Is that cool or what? Notice the chandelier in there still. Everyone wants to know how he earns money, and he works for his money, doing things with his hands. He was a tradesman, but his art took over and was the icing on the cake.
Very cool.
Can I help you? We're gonna go out there. I will. It's this time of day. Did Solomon have any kids? He did. He had 2 children. Okay, because I saw a card.
Dan has seen better
Oh yeah,
days.
he has a handful of grandchildren and a double handful of great-grandchildren. And his daughter Elaine runs the restaurant here. You can probably see her busting tables even. She's super down to earth. So normally we would go out this 3-sided door and stand in the blazing hot sun or the pouring rain. And I would talk about the overnight accommodations. They're on the far side in the back of the castle there. It's called the Blue Moon Room. It's 500 square feet. It has a kitchenette, dish TV, air conditioning, and it comes with 2 tours and a continental breakfast. It used to be for $50 extra. Howard would put on a French maid outfit and do room service, but he was offered $75 to just forget about it. And the nature trail, actually on the way out to the parking lot again, on the right side of the wheelbarrow, it runs around, there's a bridge, it'll take you down to Horse Creek, and it runs around the back of the castle. There's another bridge there, but it's out of order right now, so you just have to do a U-turn and come back. You can walk it in 8 minutes, come back at 16. One woman saw a snake and did it in 30 seconds. So let's head out to the boat. You don't want to get wet. Otherwise, you can cut through the front of the castle if you don't want to come up this way. Not too bad. So on the curve there, if you look back up this way, that was your equipment. I'm supposed to make it sound creepy, spend the night in the castle kind of thing, but it's actually really peaceful and
What does it cost?
$129 a night. Sleep too.
That's not bad. Not bad at all. I'd do
So
that.
then we have the guest. I'm sorry.
probably will do
that's
that.
the porter. The guest room is there. And it has 10 bathrooms in it. And there's an office up there as well.
This place?
There's a 3-sided door. And so,
That door weighs
this
250
glass doesn't
pounds.
have justice out here. It's all from the inside.
Where's the umbrella? Where's the umbrella?
Super expensive though. I can't help with this thing. Sandblasting as well. As you see on the bay window, he created the 12 signs of the zodiac. Sandblasting was sort of the same as acid etching. You cover the part you want to stay clear and expose the alternative to the element you're using. And there's that balcony where he spoke to his subjects on any subject. And he used a sponge mop for the yellow brick road.
That's the problem.
But the horse got loose while the paint was wet. So now we have a horse of a different color. Sorry, y'all. That's your equipment. So as you see on the front of the castle here, Howard created stained glass depicting the planets as they are from the sun. The bottom floor are where all the coat hanger animals are in the menagerie. The second story is an office, and the top floor is a bedroom. There's 3 working bells in the tower, and you can ring them with a rope, and there's a wooden staircase that runs up inside the interior of the tower. Let's head over to the boat. I'm going to point out that mural there. Pines right in the way. There's a wizard behind the tree. As you see on the side of the castle is a mural that was painted by a local artist named Guy Labrie. Mr. Labrie was known as the barefoot artist. He's recently passed away as well. That piece is named Wizards at Work. And you see the little men down there with the swords. That's Howard's fencing. Howard began building this ship in 1990. It took him 4 years. It's 65 feet long and 3/4 the length of the Santa Maria. You see he kindly put 2 shovels at the end of the anchor so you can dig yourself off of a sandbar. And over here he put the planking so his wife could wash the windows, and she quickly left the next day. He started with the 3 power poles. There's one on either end and one in the center. And if you pull back the hull, you'll see there are 105 pilings. So it's the boat that doesn't float. The water does come up to the cannons actually on an average summer. Let's head over to the lighthouse. We're going all the way down and then up again.
So it wasn't originally built to be a restaurant. It was built to, they were going to have it as a toy store. And then they decided, let's make it into a restaurant.
Welcome to Lily Lighthouse. It's named Lily after the community we're in. This is Lily Community. And it is a lighthouse. It's made of aluminum. And it gets really dark out here at night. So Howard put a disco ball in the top, and we haven't lost a ship since. Howard also created 6 different houses in stained glass depicting the ones along the eastern seaboard, one being the Lily Lighthouse. And they're having a function in there right now, but normally I would walk you in there. People reserve it for group gatherings and such, but on the average day, it's open to the general public. If you were to have lunch with us today, you could sit in the ship out here or in the lighthouse at your leisure. And the shell-packed road over there, if you took a left, that's what meanders around his workshop, and ultimately to the left will be the chocolate house, and on the right will be the Alishmo. It's just a nice walk. And if you have tickets to the other gallery, the Art Aaron Auto Gallery, it would be right in front of you at the end of the trail, in the big pasture ahead of you. And if you saw the menu in the front of the castle, Roadkill Cafe, we don't serve roadkill here. Everything here is made with love. And you see there the pirate mapping the end of this port, and this is the end of the port. So thank you for coming today. Does anyone have any questions? Any questions?
All right, well, we're going to finish up the tour here. This is Solomon's Castle here in Ona, Florida.
Make sure you come out and check this place out. Make sure you can get a lunch here and a very informative tour.